Another episode of Inside Link is in progress. Today is going to be a totally different session and something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. Just something in terms of being productive altogether. I actually realized that I wanted to get my laptop set up, but it's been kind of a crazy morning. But the idea is I wanted to put together a co-working session, and this is definitely stealing the ideas of Taylor Drayson and also Kyle Van Duzen. Kyle did one that I actually didn't get to participate in, but I thought it was a cool idea. And then just a couple days ago, Taylor was streaming on his channel on Twitch, and it was actually pretty cool. So I joined, and he was working, and I said to him, I was like, you're just on Facecam, I hope you know, and we can't see your screen. He was like, yeah, that's the point. I was like, oh, I see. That makes sense now. And that was cool because I was working on my script for CSS Made Easy. And so I was able to kind of bounce back and forth between that and interact with chat. So it's kind of what we're going to do today is just hang out. Maybe there'll be some questions that crop up in terms of things that we can do and showcase and maybe mess around in WordPress a little bit. But we're going to keep it fairly light today and just hang out. Hopefully all of you have some work that you can get done as well. I think we should be good to go on the technical front. And as people start to pour in, good morning, Kyle. Very much a thief. Yep. Hey, Mark, welcome in. Glad to have you, dude. Yeah, see, it's so funny how the YouTube notifications go out and then the viewership goes up every single time. I can always see that. So yeah, like I mentioned, today is going to be today is the 8th episode. I actually miscounted, funny enough, the recent episodes of Inside Link. And then next week is going to be with Kevin Geary. So I'm sure we're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff, CSS and bricks and whatever else, why I like Generate, stuff like that. I have no idea how that conversation is going to go, but that's going to be really good. So that's coming next week. But in terms of this week, like I said, just if you have any questions at all for me, maybe things that we can put together or show on the stream. If not, we're just going to rock out and put on some music for yourself. I'm going to have some playing lightly in the background on my side too. In fact, I should probably go ahead and mute my desktop audio just so my stuff doesn't get in the way of yours. And maybe what we'll do is over the next 30 minutes or an hour, maybe write yourself a goal. See if there's something that you can get done in this time. Ernesto, good morning or good afternoon. Taylor, hey. In the car, you said, where are you going? Actually, maybe don't answer that because you're in the car. I presume you're driving. I don't want you to get arrested using your phone. This officer says, you were texting and driving, and you're like, actually, no. I was YouTube chatting and driving. He's like, get in the car. Or they say, get in the car. That was the worst British accent ever. I promise I typically do better British accents than that. So let's see. German with Laura. How would you approach adding modal pop-ups with Generate Press? Different options. Well, there's a video on my channel, actually, on my YouTube channel, where I create one that's totally flexible. It's not quite the most, I don't know how you would say. It's not the most, it's not the easiest thing ever, but it's relatively easy. So you can check that out. Just go to my YouTube channel, and if you just search, I think I use both modal and pop-up on there. Let me actually take a look real quick. Jonathan. Hello, everybody's pouring in. Awesome. Adam, good morning. We got George, Bad Cat, Paul. Hello, everybody. Glad to have all of you here. Let's see. What is the video title? Laura, the video title is Easy Pop-Up Modal for Generate Blocks Pro. That particular one does require Generate Blocks Pro because it uses data attributes. If I'm not mistaken, I think Taylor actually took that a little bit further on his Snippet Club site. Let me take a look. Modal? I don't remember if he turned it into a tutorial. I guess not. I thought he cleaned it up a bit and made it even easier. No. But yeah, there's a video on my channel here. So let's see. George says, I would love a conversation with Kevin about Gutenberg that will escalate quickly. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. It just makes sense. He said that ACSS is coming for Gutenberg. So it just makes a lot of sense that that will be a pretty big topic of conversation. Him and I haven't spoken, in depth, just one-on-one about this. So that will be, I think, a really interesting conversation. No need to pay, Adam. That's happening next week. Akram says, are you going to be using GB for the CSS course or a different one? I'm making it a very specific point with my CSS course to use only free themes and plugins. So it really won't matter what I'm using, but I am going to use examples with Generate Press and Generate Blocks. And then also with, I don't know yet. I did a demo recording where I tried to show something in Elementor, but because of the way that there's 4 divs for one headline and the class that I added on a headline is actually 2 divs up, it was like, I think I'm going to have to add an extra couple of lessons about just trying to target the right thing in Elementor. And that is going to be something that I didn't anticipate, but that's how these courses go. I mean, every single time I've done something like the oxygen course, I think when I first mapped that out, I wrote it all down and I was like, all right, I think I'm at like 28 or 30 lessons. And then by the time I actually published that course, I think it was at like 50 or 55 videos when it first came out, something crazy like that. So that was, so the Elementor thing, I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that have purchased the pre-sale for CSS Made Easy already that use Elementor. So my point with that is that I want people to feel empowered to be able to inspect their site and get what they need done, even if it's the wrong tool. It's like you still need to be able to know how to do it. Although I would recommend switching to Generate Blocks and Generate Press. Ernesto says, try Brixby. You will have fun. Yeah, I'm sure I would. If the need arises, I might do that one day. So we have a lot of people popping in. I'm always curious. Drop in the chat where all of you are from. I really enjoy knowing where everybody is. I think we got people in the UK and the US for sure. German with Laura. I wonder if you're in Germany. I'm from Niceville, Florida. Bolivia. Awesome. Greece. George, I have to say, based on your last name, I kind of assumed Greece. Hopefully that's not a spicy thing to say, but just is the case. Another UK, German with Laura is South Dakota. Funny. I actually remember that. I think you've shared that before. Ohio, Saudi Arabia. Awesome. Akram says, cool, with the payment didn't go through. I will try again. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I emailed you back, so hopefully you saw that. Pennsylvania, Washington. Awesome. Got all over the place. Saudi Arabia is not a place I don't think that I've seen somebody mention that they're from in live chat before. That's pretty awesome. Philadelphia. Awesome, Mark. Yeah, very cool. Let's see. Adam says, a lesson on targeting would be great regardless. So many themes, blocks, plugins use weird wrappers that need silly targeting shenanigans. Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it. I mean, the building the correct selector is something that I'm actually spending 2 separate lessons on inside this course. And it may even change a little bit because I'm taking a different approach with this course as compared to some of the other ones that I've done, which is I'm actually fully scripting this stuff out. So I have a fully like word for word script. And really that's just to get the first iteration of this down so I don't make a mistake. And then I'm already realizing like how I can tie these things together. So with that, then I can go record. But my point with explaining that is just that I'm already seeing how I can tie things together in the future. And it's giving me a really good idea of how many lessons are going to be needed for a particular topic. So you're right about that I think that one's going to require multiple lessons. So it's coming together though, that's for sure. I did, I think if I had the access to the site that I made the video on yesterday about the recipe plugin, that would have been a good example of building those selectors because there's some wacky ones and trying to override like inline styles and stuff like that. That would have been a pretty good challenge, but for sure something we can cover in the future. So I'm curious because today, like I said, is a Q&A day. If you have any questions, things you want to see, let me know. We can pop those together. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of doing a co-working session together. So while you're busy working, I'm going to be busy working over here, which is why we're still rocking the face cam today. That's kind of what's going on. So we're going to keep it pretty chill, pretty lightweight today. I think next week is going to be hopefully a long conversation with Kevin. Your YouTube thumbnail yesterday made me want chicken wings. Do you still have that recipe? Yeah, for sure. It's right there in the video. I actually did, my girlfriend bought me this like thing for the grill that's like, I don't even know what you call it. I struggled to search for it because I didn't actually know what the thing is called, but it was basically like a chicken wing griller rack, I guess you would call it. And I used it for the second time last weekend, and it's like, it got me fired up to do that again. I want to become a grill master, a grill daddy. Kyle says, Midjourney gave me a website layout and I cannot figure out how the hell to actually do it. Did you, somebody messaged me on Facebook, was that? Oh no, it wasn't you. I was going to say, did you share that with me? You can't figure out how to do it like in the sense that it's too complicated? Or like there's something weird to it? Yeah, definitely do. I'll pull up FB chat real quick. Yeah, if you send it to me, Kyle, let me know if it's cool to show it on stream. In the meantime, while I'm waiting, Mark says, does Generate Blocks have much WooCommerce support? I actually just saw a thread. I don't remember where it was. I don't remember if it was on the forums or on the Facebook group, but somebody was saying like, please, can we get more options for WooCommerce? And it's more like a Generate Press thing because the controls for WooCommerce live inside of Generate Press. But I think it's like enough to get you by, but I don't think it's the most comprehensive thing ever. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's so funny how like, I'm like, it's all blurry, but then I forgot it's Midjourney. Okay, so let me, oh gosh, it's so zoomed in. What the hell? I don't want to dox myself, so I'm trying to get this into something that I can save. Here we go. Let me put this right here. Right here, like that. All right, so let me switch my screen here. Window, mic, and face. Okay, so here is what Kyle shared with me, and he said, the question is how to keep the logo to float over there outside the site with container, but keep the headline inside the site container. Well, my first thought is positioning that either as absolute or fixed, right? Oh, bigger one for context. I didn't see the second one. 1 second. I can pull this up to be a little bit less blurry, I believe. Hopefully this opens up right on top. No, of course it doesn't. Let's go right here. It's still blurry. Whatever. You get the idea. Yeah, so the question is how to get that logo to float over there outside the site with container, but keep the headline inside the container. It's the same size. The first screenshot, I just, okay, cropped in tighter. I see. Thanks. So is the idea that this is any kind of sticky header, or would it just, like this is just a static section and then you would scroll down? Because my thought would be, if you just let Generate Press set the logo right here, and then Oh, well, actually, no. I guess you're going to have to create a block section because you need that custom headline. But yeah, so because it's a static section, what I was thinking was you could just simply let the logo be positioned here. I was just trying to build this with blocks, not using the actual theme. Yeah, I mean, I know you're competent enough at CSS that I'm surprised that, or at least on the surface, I'm surprised that this was giving you trouble, because it seems like, yeah, you would just want to use position and do something like, you know, left negative whatever, I don't know, 100 or something, and then just factoring in what's going to happen on mobile. I guess it goes back. Let me get a local environment set up and we can try it. Yeah, it needs to be kind of centered in the extra space. I see what you mean. But if it's like the logo is positioned, sure, yeah, let's send it, Kyle. I mean, I don't know that I'll be able to figure it out, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Make everybody be like, oh, he couldn't figure it out. Let's see. Yeah, this should be a good one. Let's see. Just trying to make sure everything's good on this side. I'm really curious also what you've tried so far. I assume you have some code in there already we can take a look at. Gonna try to get this situated off screen real quick. Log in. Do you have any thoughts, Kyle, on what's supposed to happen to that logo when it goes off screen? Oh, there's a cuss word in your copy. What is it? Let me see. I see now. That's funny. All right, let's see. It says you're currently editing, so I'll steal it real quick. Take over. There we go. All right, so let's get rid of this. And then there's this. So then I'll take this, pop that in. Okay, so let's just first of all take a look at what you've done so far. So this is 1920, I think, roughly. It's at least proportional to that. So I assume there's still some stuff that you've done. Yeah, I'm sure. I was just curious what you had done so far to kind of take a look. So what is the site container here? Is it this? Put in a container, made it flex, then said, hey, Jonathan. 1312. Yeah, Adam, I changed it from the R-rated version to the G-rated version, so you can assume what Kyle had in there. So I guess for the sake of this, because our screen width isn't so wide, we probably would want to change well, I guess we could just use inspect too. So if it was 1920, then let's see. So it's inside of this div. I wonder which would be the better way to go about it. Maybe the actual image itself, so we're not using all this other space. I guess we could just define the width, but if we position absolute, I hate excuse me. Just start over the way I would do it. Yeah, I was just thinking about how the best way to approach this would be. Is your container width here actually 1312? That doesn't seem like a very Kyle thing. Let's just set this to something more typical. 1312? Seems like you just slapped in a number there. All right, so we have container. I'm almost wondering if, like, because it just needs to be in this container, and we're gonna heavily position this with CSS, if it just chills out there, then we're not gonna need this container. And really, we don't need that container. And then is there padding on this one? Yeah, okay. So I presume on the desktop side, we're not going to need that. So there's a width of 150 on this image. Okay, Ben, so the idea is that this image should float over here on the left side. And then the headline here should just be contained in inside this container here. Oh, I guess you had some padding there because the header has padding. I see. 24 right and left. So then that will give us that border right here. So then this, I wish there was a way to keep it 1920 and then actually like zoom in, but maybe I'm just a clown. I guess I could just zoom like with browser. Oh no, that doesn't work. So really all that I was thinking was just taking this figure and doing something like position absolute and then left, I don't know, like, I wonder what the best unit to use here would be. We would need a left of some kind. Let's just go with 5 VW and then top of, I always forget the like translate down 50% plus whatever. Position absolute top center. Yeah, it's top 50% transform something something. Translate y minus 50. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Me too. That's what I'm saying. I know what it is. I just, oh yeah, okay. Hey, Brad. Good morning. So top 50%, right? Where did we go? Oh, because we probably need a position of relative on this one. So top 50% and then transform, translate y negative 50%, right? Yeah, okay. There we go. So how centered is that actually? I wonder, yeah, perfect. So that's good, except it's not left properly. I wonder what the best way to slice up this would be so that it was perfectly in this. I see what you mean about it being a little trickier than it appears on the surface, because if we were to go like 25, oh, you have the box layout. Yeah, perfect. You solved that problem for us. You have the restricted 1920. Yeah, I totally see what you mean about the left and right. So I wonder, because you have this case where your website can't extend past 1920, would there be a way to kind of do the math on what this space is going to be? I guess you might have to do a few different breakpoints in the thought process that I'm thinking, which is like, do the math based on the breakpoint to figure out what the left position is going to be, if that makes any sense. Exactly, yeah. Like if there was a way to precisely measure this, is there... Yeah, you lost me at math. Oh yeah, sorry. For any of the British people in here, I know it's pronounced maths with an S. Yeah, so I wonder, is this a case where we know that the container, site container, is 1200 pixels, and then, let's see, so 1920 minus 1200 divided by 2 gives us 360. So the math that I'm doing is this box right here should be 360 pixels, which kind of works out because the image is 150 and it seems to fit in there. So then could our left be something like, yeah, max of 360, right? At max width of 360. I wonder... I'm thinking, I'm silent, but thinking. Yeah, so Taylor, let me pull back up the thing here, the example. So just for anybody joining and Taylor, the idea here is that we get this logo. This is so small, sorry. The idea here is that we get this logo floating and it stays right here, but it doesn't affect the heading inside of the container here. So this heading should still be inside the site container, which we set to 1200 pixels, and then this logo should be perfectly centered on this left-hand side. Fortunately, it's not sticky or anything like that, so this is relatively straightforward, I think. Really, what we're just debating right now is the proper like left position. So if we did, because this is absolute, one thing I was thinking is kind of this translate 50%. I wonder if there's a way to define... one second, I have an idea. Got to consult the Google. Yeah, okay. Left 105. Yeah, I mean, that looks... Oh, wait. Nope. There's got to be some relative positioning we can do. Because if it's like, I did 5 VW earlier, and that looks okay-ish. Yeah, the 3 flex containers I think is totally doable. The middle child has width 100%, max width 1200 pixels, left and right have flex grow. Oh, yep. So it's actually way easier. Way easier than we were making it. That's funny. Yeah, okay. All right, well, let's actually do that then. So let's go back and add in these containers. So let's go container, and then duplicate. Let's see if my Control D will work. Nope, never does. Okay, so then this one is going to come back up here. Middle container. Sizing, width, 100%. Max width, we said was 1200 pixels. I guess maybe generate blocks is different. Left and right have flex grow. Layout, display flex. Flex grow 1. Oh, I guess I didn't actually need to set the flex on here because this parent is already set to flex. So let me just go ahead and undo that. Yeah, flex grow 1. Yeah, since it's already there, we're good. So then the image needs to come back down here inside of this container. I don't know if you have problems with this, you blocks users out there. It's just like Oxygen where it's really difficult to drag something into a container for, oh, well, I lied. No, it's not. Just have to have a little bit more patience. I was just wondering like dragging inside of it, I find sometimes it's easier to just add a paragraph inside of it so you have something in there. The third container is flex grow 1 as well. Yep. Then image, align center. So make that third container. Yeah, it's kind of hard if you're just listening. So do we need a max width on this? Oh, there's nothing in the final container. So its width is 0. Or its height, I guess. Actually, never mind. Sorry. So we did the math, and this was a max width of 360, right? So can we just slap a 360 max width on there? It works at 1920. I mean, it works there. So job done, boys. Nice work. See, it's still missing a little something. I wish there was some like laser that could calculate how far that distance was for us. Well, see, Taylor, it works here, but as soon as your screen width changes, then bam. And that's the problem. That was the thing that we kind of started off on this from the beginning. By the way, if anybody else watching has questions or things you want to chit chat about in the meantime, please toss them in the chat. If I don't get to it right away, I'll definitely get to it eventually. I like the approach, Kyle. Let's go with a heading. And we're going to make this heading say, Kyle is the best. Would this container also need the max width of 360? Or maybe a min width. I'm just going to try this. There we go. There we go. That is incredibly cheap. That works though. I mean, all we had to do is just put something in there. You can see we can just make this text color the same as the background and it's done. No need for opacity at that point. What does it look like? 1920 is good. So what about at like just stuff keywords in the headline? Yeah. What about at like 13? what are some wacky resolutions? 1366, I think. Still, well, no, actually it doesn't. Probably because by here, your screen width is small enough that it's pushing in because it just has to fill that before the container collapses. Brad says, what's your objective on mobile? Mobile schmobile. No, I'm just kidding. I assume it would just probably do something like this. This actually works kind of well, to be honest. What does it look like at mobile 480? We would probably need to start changing the widths here and maybe do some collapsing. Yeah, because I mean, obviously this is all still pretty broken on like a 480 screen size, but overall, it works reasonably well. So it's actually it's so much more simple. We don't even need to bother with any of the position absolute stuff. Like it just floats out there nicely. And just to recap, all that we did was just make sure that this parent container is set to display of flex. Then the left container just has a flex grow of 1, so it takes up all the available space. I just set a max width on that of 360. Same is true on the third container. Max width of 360, flex grow of 1. And then this middle container is a width of 100% and max width of 1200 pixels. So it works. Yeah, I mean, you do have to cheat it a little bit for sure. But I mean, maybe you could do something like slightly useful other than Kyle is the best. Maybe you could do something like, I think you probably could, because all you need is this thing to have some width and height to it. Oh, I see what you mean. Put a blank div. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we just stick a container in there. Is that enough? I don't think the containers have any width and height by default. No. So you would need to... Oh, I didn't do the... Well, what if you... Not min height. Whoops, min width. Oh, no, min width isn't going to work. The eggplant emoji. Wonder if you give it a height, though. Like, is that the problem? Because it has width. No, that's not it. You got to put something in there. So, yeah, a little cheap, but whatever. It works. Can be as simple as a headline. I mean, what could you do? You could do the phone number again, you know, and then just hide it. Except we wouldn't want it to be an H2. 804 222 2222. That looks like a real phone number to me. Well, that was a cool challenge. Thanks, Kyle. It's funny how you can immediately jump to stuff that's way more complicated than it needs to be. Thanks, Midjourney, for the challenge. Midjourney and challenge. What happens if you set the third div to flex? You mean this container with nothing in it? Or what are you thinking? Also, by the way, thank you for all of you hanging out. If you haven't yet dropped a like on the stream, please do that. I appreciate it, as always. AI lawyer, I just noticed that's what this is called. That's funny. No, it's a fun challenge. I enjoy these impromptu streams because we always come up with something fun and interesting. All right, so Taylor wants to see this container set to flex with nothing in it. Got our flex grow, max width of 360. No, it still doesn't like the fact that there's nothing in it. Although it works there. Yeah, I guess it doesn't quite work as easily and seamlessly. Interesting. Well, cool. That was a fun one. I'm curious what those of you watching are working on today. What are you up to right now? Are you working on something? I got lunch at the pub. Catch you later. Wow. That's the most British thing I've heard all day. Enjoy, dude. Peace out. For me, what I'm trying to get more work done today is continue writing portions of the script for CSS Made Easy. I'm finding it so helpful to take the time to fully write it out, because I'm encountering just small little things that would be like annoying to try and edit out, like mistakes where I accidentally click the wrong button. I can have like the script open and kind of go do it in real time and figure out what are the little nuances going to be. So far it's going well. I'm going to have to record. I did 9 recordings yesterday, 9 or 10, and I'm going to have to redo one of them. But overall, I'm making a bunch of progress already. So I'm pretty stoked. Let's see. Adam, dude, writing the script makes all the difference, but holy cow, it takes for. You're right, dude. Yeah, it really does. I actually am enjoying it, because the other side effect that I realized is that I can take that script, because it's nearly word for word what I'm saying in the videos. Obviously, that doubles as transcription for the videos, but I'm going to be able to release that as kind of like a little guidebook as a bonus for people that, purchase the course. And then the other thing I considered too is that I might be able to let people, or find a way to translate them, because there's a lot of people that take my courses, and I'm sure, that's true of most people, but there's a lot of people whose English is not their first language. So it might be easier for them to translate it, listen and translate maybe. I don't know. Is this course for sale? If so, for how long? And where do we find it? Yeah, so on my website, jonathanjernigan.com, go over the courses, CSS Made Easy. That's what we're talking about here. So this is going to be open for the pre-sale, at least. It's open for just a few more days. Pre-sale, you get basically everything listed on this page, all of these modules, all the challenges, and so on. Everything is included. And this is a good thing to take a look at. Who is this course for? Kurt says, will we need WP Codebox to follow along your course? You don't have to buy it, no. The developer of WP Codebox was kind enough to let me include it in the demo sites that I'm going to be providing through the course. So there's going to be kind of like a nulled version of it, which is perfect. And I still highly recommend you get WP Codebox, though, just in general. So I think it's a worthwhile purchase. But in terms of taking the course, it's definitely not required. Great question, though. So yeah, Adam, thank you. I appreciate that. Dude, sell us more stuff. Gladly. However much you want to give me, PayPal it. No. Got to go to a meeting. Thanks for the help. Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Good to chat with you. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to be working on my script here now for the kind of co-working portion of this stream. I realize my keyboard is so clicky clacky loud though, that I kind of need to do something about that. I think I had intended to get my laptop and use my laptop in front of me and kind of type on that, because it wouldn't be so annoyingly loud. But in the meantime, if you have any other questions or things you want to explore, I have a WordPress install fired up that we can take a look at. Any questions about plugins or GeneratePress, CSS Made Easy, anything, happy to take a look at that. So what I'm going to do is in this window here, pull up my script. Also, I was going to recommend, if you have some music you want to toss on while we're just hanging out and chilling here, I would highly recommend going ahead and doing that. I'm curious, what kind of music do all of you listen to while you're working? For me, I lately have been into kind of more chilled out, kind of ambient stuff. Oh, hello, dog. Hi. We're not babysitting. We're dog sitting for our family, and she's here. So if you hear dog noises, or if my screen suddenly shuts off and the internet disconnects, it's because she's under my desk right now and knocked the power out. Hello. Hello, dog. Would you like to say hi to the stream? Yeah, come here. Let's see. We're going to be able to see the dog. I'm not sure if you can see her. There we go. Say hi. Hello to the stream. Do you think there will ever be, have you ever seen an advanced CSS course? I mostly see beginners tutorials. I think Kevin Powell is or has put together the advanced like SAS SCSS course. And I don't remember if it's open or not. Kevin Powell SCSS course. Let's see. Conquering responsive layouts. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's called Beyond CSS. It's closed right now. In this course, I'll be looking at using SAS to develop reusable design systems, explore sane naming conventions, and tools like Vite and PostCSS. I don't know. The thing is, though, it's like, what relation do you want it to have to WordPress? Because obviously Kevin Powell's stuff is going to be pretty much, you know, raw website coding. Maybe some like, you know, could be used for other frameworks like React and so on. But I don't know. I'm not sure that there's an advanced one that exists. Maybe that's in my future. But in terms of, you know, me for now, that's where it's at. Yeah, generic CSS. I mean, Kevin Powell is the way to go then. Mark says, wiki design. Do you have a good resource for JavaScript snippets? Any alternatives to something like CodePen? Like where to store them, or you mean where to get them? Because where to store them, I've just been using WP Codebox and its cloud snippets feature. I was putting stuff in GitHub for a while, like in my own little private GitHub repository, but it's just so overcomplicated. I didn't need that level of complexity. Just something, oh, to get them, I see. I mean, if I, before ChatGPT and stuff, I was like paying friends and people I knew to help me with that kind of thing. But I mean, with the right prompts and, you know, sequencing, slowly building out what you actually want, it's crazy what it can do. Yeah, Ben, awesome. I'm glad Kevin's helpful. Both of the Kevins obviously have great stuff when it comes to CSS. Kevin Powell just has a lot more highly focused CSS content, of course. Excuse me. I mean, the thing about like ChatGPT is that, you know, everybody said it a million times. It can be wrong, and it's like I don't know. I found it to be a really useful tool, but I'm curious, like, I do feel a sense of just like concern with AI, not because of like job replacement, but just more like long-term like safety and just like, you know, for the good of civilization. I've expressed that to a couple of close friends and like my family, but it's not something I've vocalized yet. And I'm curious how all of you kind of feel about it. Not, like I said, not in terms of specifically how it would like replace our jobs and stuff, but I mean more like long term. What do you see as the outlook long term? Do you see, you know, positive benefit and no real concern? Or do you see concern and maybe some positive benefit? I'm really curious. That would actually be kind of an interesting topic discussion here. In the meantime, Ben says, who's Kevin 2? I was referring to Kevin Geary. He makes a lot of Bricks content. He made Oxygen content for a while. He developed automatic CSS. So I was jokingly calling them both Kevins. Yeah, Claudio. There you go. Kevin Geary. I assume some of you are furiously typing about this AI situation. Seems like you got all the bases covered then, Ben, in terms of where you need to be to learn the proper thing. Hassan says, I'm not concerned as long as we provided the models. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing, is there's such a human component of it where mistakes can be made along the way. Mark says, same here. I think it's going to be a good thing for ways to make our jobs easier, mostly for code stuff, but for AI images, I'm against using it for client work. Yeah, I mean, the AI images thing is an interesting example. I found that it's helpful as inspiration in particular. Like if I need help with like a thumbnail idea or something weirdly specific, I saw somebody was like trying to come up with images of like a foundry of some kind, like a factory. And you know, that's a relatively difficult thing to find proper stock for, but they were able to use the AI imagery to to build something like that. I'm like, well, in highly specific use cases, I mean, I could see it being really beneficial like that. Hey, can you not do that, please? Thank you. Sitting behind me, scratching that dog. I don't know. I think I think a lot about this AI stuff, and I watched the Lex Fridman interview with the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, I think is his name, and that was really interesting and concerning as well. That really like got me down the like path of thinking about this a bit more. But don't you think the creativity will come to an end eventually? I mean, probably so. I do imagine that we're going to hit some kind of plateau. I think that's only natural. I think it's kind of true for most things in life, and especially in terms of people and creative outlets. Like everybody hits kind of a plateau. But where is that? You know, where in the like arc and the timeline are we right now in the AI world? I think we're still really, really early in the curve. I think we're going to look back and be like, wow, we were all in the forefront of this thing. I mean, we are. Absolutely. We are 100%. But I guess my question is more like, how much further do we have to go? Okay. So I'm going to try real quick to type a little bit and let me know how annoying this is. Because I know you can hear it, but I'm curious how annoying this is. Because if it is, I'm going to switch to my laptop. That's definitely true. You have to be creative to feed the AI the right prompts. That's almost an art in itself. Let's see. What is module 3? Element class ID. H3. So then I'm just going to put the foundational building blocks of a selector are excuse me. One of 3 selectors. Element, class, or ID. I bet me talking is probably slightly more distracting. Hello, Rocky. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We're just kind of hanging out today on this stream. We spent a little bit of time earlier before Kyle left working on a little CSS position thing. Turned out to be easier than I think we anticipated it to be at the beginning. Good evening. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know for so many of you that participate and watch these streams, feed us more WP, which you won't. Let me see if I have a huge idea. Hey, Heinrich, welcome in. Glad to see you again. Another member up in the chat. We had Taylor and Kyle. We got Heinrich. Member of the channel, I mean. Is it's all a green mess in live chat by Kyle? Yeah, exactly. Green being members. And then blue being Taylor, who's a member and a mod. I have a big list of videos, and let's see. Some of them I just look at some of these video ideas I have, and I'm like, just not good enough. Doesn't deserve a video. I wrote a blog post a while back about tech stack, so I need to go ahead and mark this off. I have a video idea for updated tech stack. I mean, that's been overdone times a million. I think I want to do, I'm curious, you can drop in the live chat or a comment later on if you're watching this back. One thing I've been thinking about doing, and I said this before, was I want to do kind of like a marathon series where I rebuild or create like a dynamic website, kind of like I did for those early Oxygen tutorials, where they're like the car dealership website, or they're like, I think one of them was photography. The car dealership one I think would be most interesting for me because there would be taxonomies, there would be custom post types, there would be filters with WP Grid Builder, dynamic data. There'd be all kinds of stuff that would be really cool in there. And then another thing would be like the idea, there could be so many ways that you could take it in sort of this hypothetical scenario where you could have people that submit from the front end and, you know, it's like, I actually purchased the car a couple years ago from like a smaller dealership, and they had this feature where you put down a deposit and you just like filled out the little form on the thing and it charged your card, I think like $500. Maybe it was even less than that. Maybe it was like 100. But it was kind of cool because when you go through the thing and fill out the form, then it put the car into like a pending state so people could see that there was somebody that had put down this like hold deposit. And then I think they gave you like 7 days to submit the full payment, or, you know, they refunded your deposit, but then the car went back into like an open state, which I thought was kind of a cool approach. I don't know how automated it was. Like it very well could have just been, you know, somebody submits it and then they change it in the back end, but I bet we could probably set that up with just a front end form where somebody could fill it out, and then on the form submission, it just, you know, changes an ACF field from like open to pending or whatever. Live stream would be good, like how Kyle has done it in the past. I mean, I think it would be really cool. It would be extremely long, like probably, if not multiple episodes of the stream, it would probably be, I don't even know, 4, 6 hours, 8 hours maybe. It would be a long time, depending on where we started from. But I think if I was going to do it, I would want to start from kind of the ground up, you know, simple blank WP site. So I would need to make sure I have a decent design. Brad says, curious, can you recommend any tool or process for front-end post submission? Yeah, I mean, let me show you. Here, I'll switch to this view. So on my site, if you click the little tutorials button, there's this little search. I think if you just type the word front, this one is front-end posting and editing in Oxygen. I think I also did this in a live stream, but this uses the plugin called ACF Extended, which is a free add-on for ACF Pro. And this is a really, really great way to allow people to submit from the front end. This video is a couple years old. So obviously this used Oxygen and I think even a code snippet by WP Dev Design, but the idea is still very much the same. And then I think there was a live stream. Trying to think. I wonder what it was. There was an episode where I built. What did I build? It was like an IT shop, I think, and you could like submit something. Submission. No. Let me see if I can find it. It was a live stream. Setting up search. No. Oh, membership directory site build. I think this was it. Yeah, here it is right here. So this video is old too. Wow. This one's from May of 2021, almost 2 years ago. This is newer than the other video at least, but this one walks through a bunch. Did I create timestamps or did somebody do that? I guess I created timestamps. That's crazy. I forgot I did that. But yeah, this shows you exactly how to do front-end submission. And ACF Extended is such a good way to do it. It's a little bit tricky, but you know, if you need custom fields to work with, it's just a lot easier because you can not only let people submit from the front end, but also edit from the front end too, which is really, really cool. It takes a little bit of time to wrap your head around the kind of sequencing about how it's done, but it's a really great way to do it. You can also do it with Gravity Forms. There's a front end submission. I don't know if that lets you edit from the front end as well, but I think this is a great way to do it. Yeah, you're welcome. Look at the difference in hair here. Wait, let me go back over here. Look at the hair difference. We were on the verge of getting that long hair. It was in progress for sure. Again, gotta hit you with it. If you've made it this far, please hit that like button. Appreciate you. Yeah. Okay, so we are over an hour now, which is great. I wanted to mention again that next week is going to be with Kevin Geary. Super stoked about that. Obviously going to talk CSS and Gutenberg and all those sorts of things. Then the week after that, let me double check my calendar. I was just thinking. The week after that, I'm actually going to be out of town. I'm going to be in London, which I'm excited about. And I'm going to try to do a stream from somewhere in London. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. But there's quite a few people that, live in and around London. So maybe we'll make something work with that. Yeah, me and Kevin have a lot going on right now in terms of new content coming out. So if I was in a position of, if I was on the flip side, eagerly waiting this content to come out, I would be extremely excited. Oh, I just realized I need to change my YouTube banner. I didn't do that. I could have sworn I did that. I guess maybe I had a problem with it. Before we start to wrap this thing down, I'm curious if any of you have any other questions you want to address. Touched on some good stuff today. Did a little CSS stuff. I got some ideas on my my script I'm working on. Touched on AI. That's actually something that I think I'm curious if you would be interested in, maybe like a blog post or video, on that. Maybe talking about it a bit more, because it is something that's kind of top of mind for me, and I haven't covered AI content a whole lot. I did, a couple of times with the WP Cody thing before ChatGPT came out, but then there was such a surge in content for ChatGPT and Midjourney and all those things. I think they were kind of overdone. Maybe it's worth kind of looking at I don't know. I feel like it's probably worth covering. I mean, really, if it's something that I want to talk about, then I'm going to do it. So hopefully you're into that idea. But the outlook for the rest of the day for me is I'm going to be working on my script, like I said, planning this car website stream. I think that one's going to be cool. Multi-part video. Yeah, Rocky said, Kyle speeds up his video, but he doesn't do live stream, so it was possible. 4 or 6 episodes will be good. Maybe a 4 or 6 part series would be good. Yeah. I write articles for clients who really hate writing anything with AI. It is actually pretty incredible what you can get out, especially if you have kind of a basic outline. If you come in with a paragraph or two and ask it to expand upon it and add additional details and stuff. From that perspective, it is good. I am curious what the long-term outlook looks like in terms of like Google suppression on that sort of thing. Like, are they going to be able to pick up on those AI written articles? I don't know. That's something that I think about. Do you know we will be an AI overlord soon? Meaning every platform will now have these AI prompts embedded everywhere. Yeah, I mean that's something that I've seen too. It's like you get an email, so you have the AI summarize the email, then you tell the AI what to respond. It produces a couple paragraphs, and then the person on the other end does the exact same thing. They can summarize it, then they expand upon it, and it's just this infinite loop. It's just AIs talking to AIs, basically. I mean, I totally agree. It's kind of silly. Like it's definitely where we're headed. That's for sure. Elementor and Cadence are now with AI. I saw the Elementor one. What is the Cadence AI? I'm gonna look that up real quick. Cadence WP. I'm looking for it. Oh, it's not live. What is it though? Cadence for SEO, still looking for it. I saw some post in an FB group. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that the rush to do this AI stuff, I really feel like it's going to be, I don't think this stuff is going to age well, is what I'm trying to say. I think that this like rush to add these AI components into everything, like especially Elementor and those kind of things, I think they're going to age really poorly. And this stuff is changing so fast that it's like, if you had built an app, on GPT-3 and then 4 comes out and it's like, I don't know. I just think that building on top of these things right now is really, really rocky. And also because like these people, even like Elementor, you know, you're tiny in comparison to these companies that are working on this in earnest, like OpenAI and Google and, you know, Microsoft. It's like, I don't know. I just think it's foolish. I think wrapping one's function into a plugin would be an interesting use case for AI for me to test. Yeah, you could totally do that. I think the interesting thing is that, you know, having delved into plugin creation a bit with Elijah working on PyCalendar, it's like, it's not as easy as you might think. There are definitely things that you need to heavily consider, especially if you want this to be scalable long term. You really need to know everything that's inside of it. You need to know that code, you know, back of your hand. And then the other thing that's really interesting is like, sorry, what was I going to say? I saw Luke join. What up? Good to see you, dude. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. People who rely primarily on it will have a rocky road. It's good for snippets if you know what you're doing. 100%, dude. I totally agree. You really need to make the most of, you know, you need to understand it. Actually, that's a great question that I was going to address in an email, which was that somebody asked me, you know, what's the point of learning CSS, or do you need to learn CSS with something like, you know, all these AI tools out there? And I was like, well, yeah, because I mean, what good is it if you get this piece of code and it doesn't work? How are you going to know why it didn't work? Or if you need to change it in the future, then you're stuck. You're back to square one. There's just so many cases where it's like, it's not a replacement yet. Good to see you, buddy. It's pretty early for you, right? Or late, I guess. Current time, Tokyo. I think it's midnight. Yeah. Just past midnight for you. Good to see you, dude. I hope you're doing well. How's everything on the Motion Page front? You've been pumping out some new tutorials and content and stuff, which is great to see. I love watching your stuff, dude. Thanks for hanging out, Mark. See you next time. Just cracked open a Domino's pizza. Dang, dude. That midnight Domino's. Do you have a 24-hour Domino's in Tokyo? That would be pretty killer. I think mine closes at midnight. Cool, dude. I know that people have been asking for that content, as you know that too. People have been asking for that for a long time. So it'll be really good to have that. Oh, good. Yeah, I just squeezed it in. Yeah, Brad says, good way to reverse engineer it, though. Good learning experience, I think. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, for instance, I was working on this project that had, like, date calculations, and the date calculations needed to be formatted properly and then built into, like, an encoded JSON so that this other app could use it. It was this whole mess of things that I never should have committed to, but I did. And what I was able to do was kind of work through what I felt like was the approach, and then ChatGPT was able to help, you know, produce that code. And I think this would have been GPT-3, so I assume 4 would be even better at it. But it was like, you know, I still had to understand that what I needed the output to be was a specific, you know, PHP date format, and then I still needed to tell it, you know, JSON encode this array. And so there's still these things that you need a comprehensive understanding and learning of to be able to accurately use these things. For sure. Let's see, what is our stream time? Over an hour today. I think what I'm probably going to do here is I'm going to wrap up for the day today. I appreciate all of you hanging out. I'm going to go work on my script for the rest of the afternoon. It's only 10 o'clock here. But next week, I think, is going to be hopefully kind of a marathon stream with Kevin. We're going to be talking about all kinds of good stuff. So please make sure, if you're not already subscribed, that you get that. Yeah, that's a great closing question, Heinrich. I'm going to do that. Any opinions on the outcome of the Australian GP? That was the craziest, I think, race that I've seen in I don't know how long. It was really disappointing because I think that having, only 2 laps left or 1 lap left essentially after the third restart was just like, I don't know. I think it was just doomed from the outset. It was really disappointing to see. And then the whole kerfuffle with like, where do we position the timing and where do we put, where do we rearrange the grid and do we go back a lap and all that kind of stuff. I was just like, man, this is disappointing. I know that they don't want to end races under safety cars, and I think that was kind of why they did that. But it was a great race for sure. I was happy with the result at the end of the day. Although I will say that the Red Bull domination is wild and not something that I am particularly stoked on. Yeah, actually, Luke, I think you're right. Craziest race since Verstappen overtook Hamilton last minute. I think you're pretty much right. That was probably the other crazy race, because that was a very similar situation where somebody crashed and safety car came out. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just love the sport so much. I've thought about creating content on that, but I create enough content and have enough things to do that I don't want to overextend. But F1 is definitely my passion. I was actually shocked to see I'm subscribed to one of those calendars on my phone that automatically put the races in there, and it's like we don't have a race for 1, 2, 3, 4, like basically a month. It's crazy. Big gap, I guess, because China was supposed to be this year, like maybe in the 15th or something, but obviously that can't or didn't or won't happen, whatever the reason was. I don't exactly know. So sad to see Ferrari like this. It really is. They've just struggled for so many years. It's crazy. I mean, the closest they came was with Seb 2017-18. It's like just wild. And like, for a long time, I just was wishing for somebody to put up the challenge to Hamilton. And now I'm like, please, somebody put the challenge up to Max. It's just really, really crazy. So it's a wild time for the sport, and obviously interest is at an all-time high. The fact that there's 3 races in the US this year is just absolutely wild. We're going to have Miami, Austin, and Vegas. It's really, really crazy. Good time, though. And Luke, we're coming back to Japan. Right? Or did we go to Japan last year? I can't remember. F1 Japan 2022? Oh, yeah, okay. Max Verstappen. Oh, right. Because there was that like incident at the last lap, and Leclerc was penalized, I think. Or was that 2021? I'm getting them mixed up. Max secured his championship there, finishing first in front of Sergio Perez and Leclerc, despite only 28 of the scheduled 53 laps were awarded due to a loophole in the regulations regarding how points should be allocated for the first rules. Okay, interesting. Japan in September. Yeah, that's going to be great, man. That's really like on my bucket list in terms of next races. I've been to 2 in Canada and 3 in the US, but I think that's coming up for me next is Japan. That's really where I'd like to go. For some reason, the idea of like just being in Japan for the race just sounds amazing. So maybe one day we can go together. That would be awesome. I don't have it confirmed, not this year, but it's something that I've thought a lot about, and it's been on my bucket list for a long time. Typically the, prior to COVID, for all the years that I watched, the Chinese Grand Prix was right around my birthday, and I always wanted to go to China, but I don't know. It's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you hanging out. Good to see you, and we'll see you next time. 100% Luke, we will definitely meet up at Suzuka, my man, if not in Tokyo before then. With that, I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Hopefully you have lots of good work lined up or a great Friday evening. I'm going to continue drinking this coffee on my side too, get some work done, and we'll get back to it. See you next week, same time with the stream with Kevin Geary. Should be great. Thank you all for hanging out, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.